Small Business Development Center. I have Annalena here. Today we have Eric Spellmann with Online Guerrilla Marketing Grab Their Attention. This is one of my favorite topics because I've talked to Eric about this before, about different things that I've seen. And so I'm really excited about what's going on. If you have questions, Eric's really good about picking up the questions and answering them throughout the entire presentation. So if you see something that grabs your attention, haha, put it into the Q&A and we will get to everything. Everyone is muted right now, but again, just type your questions in and we'll get you the resources and the information that you need. So without further ado, Eric Spellmann, public speaker, online guerrilla marketing.
Oh, thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to this. This is one of my favorite talks that I give, primarily because it covers some things that most people have never even considered when it comes to marketing. You know, one of the goals of marketing, one of the goals of branding and getting out there and being seen and being known as a company is if you do exactly what everyone else is doing, like your competition, then everyone rises to the same level and you don't stand out. So there are so many good little chunks of information in this talk where you can stand out, things that your competitors are not doing. So I hope you have some note paper and I hope you're ready to go because I'm about to give them. Also, just to let you know, you will be receiving a full copy of this presentation from my wonderful host. So do not worry about trying to write down every point you see. What I want you to write down in your notes is maybe some applicability. In other words, how it might apply to you or an idea that it suddenly gives you. Write that down because when it's all said and done, when this little luncheon is over, you're going to have some ideas on how you can be ahead of your competition. Let's jump right into it. What do I mean by guerrilla? I mean, it kind of goes back to kind of an army term, and it has to do with um, soldiers who are they're following an irregular kind of war. In other words, they're doing not like what soldiers normally do. They're having to fight a war. Usually it's by smaller groups of soldiers who have to do things differently to fight a larger enemy. Okay. And so by guerrilla, I mean, you're going to be aggressive. I mean, you can't do the same stuff everyone else is doing. And I mean, you may not have all the money that your competition has to be doing everything. But you know what? You know what you've got? You've got passion and you've got aggressiveness. And I'm telling you, you're going to need that. You're going to need that to survive and you're going to need that to thrive and move your business forward. Let me just get down to it. Marketing is all about content. Content can be anything. Content can be a website. Content can be social media. Content can be a blog. Content can be making videos. Content can be a TV commercial. Content can be a whole bunch of stuff. But let me tell you, it's all about content, all about content. And what you want is for that content to go viral. Now, you need to understand what viral means, okay? And you've all heard it. I mean, heck, unfortunately, 2020, that word was at the top of the list. But when I talk about viral, I'm not talking about an actual medical virus. I'm talking about having your content be spread to others without you even realizing it. In other words, having the people that you're speaking to share your stuff, and then it just keeps growing and growing and growing. You want people talking about you because one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that every time your business is mentioned, every time I watch something about you on social media, it strengthens that memory in my head just a little bit more. In some cases, it doesn't even matter that I like what you posted or not. All that really matters is I saw you again and again and again. I can't tell you how many times in the past 20 years now, of marketing that, you know, people would call me up out of the blue and they would say, Eric, you don't know me, but I've been watching your videos for years and now I need help with blah, blah, blah. I never met them in my life. The interesting thing is, somehow, some way, they got a hold of my video, whether someone forwarded it to them, whether I came up in a search, some way my name got in their head. And in some way, they felt I was an expert enough to give me a call. It generated business for me. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not teaching you something that I wouldn't do myself. I'm not teaching you something that is strictly academic or textbook. I'm basically teaching you what worked for me. You want people talking about you. Now, when I say that, I don't mean in an inappropriate way. We really want to avoid that if possible. You know, someone once said, there's no such thing as bad press. Well, you just don't want to be remembered for the bad things, okay? We want to be remembered for the good, and we want to be associated with helping customers with a service or a product. Keep in mind, when you get other people talking about you by using some of these methods I'm about to show you, it saves you money and time. You're not having to advertise. Other people are advertising for you. It costs you nothing. Huge brand awareness is possible. And I mean huge if you do it right. To understand viral and this strategy, you've got to understand where it started. It all started with Hotmail. Now, Hotmail is a Microsoft property, and it was one of the first free web emails that was out there. You know, back in the old days, you would get an email address associated with your internet service provider. You know, like AOL, AOL or something like that. Well, Hotmail was not part of an internet service provider, and they let you have an email for free. And so everyone wondered, why is it free? Why are they just giving us an email account for free? Well, when you go and sign up at Hotmail, and there's so many of them out there now, Gmail and Yahoo email and a whole bunch of others. But when you sign up for a free email account, every message you send with that account has a little tag at the bottom. And what Hotmail would do is they would put the tiny little sentence, even under your signature on your email, that would say, get your private free email at Hotmail. And guess what happened? People saw that and they did it. And so basically what Hotmail was able to do was they were able to advertise or market themselves in the emails of the people using them. Does that make sense? It was very clever, and it worked, and it worked, and they grew like gangbusters because others would see that and they go, "Oh, I want free email," and they would sign up, and then every email they sent was basically what? An invitation to all their friends to sign up as well. It was an amazing thing, and technically that went viral. You got to understand why. The key to making all this work is self-replication. In other words, making it over and over and over. You know, you start it, but others take it on. Others move it from that point. And in a way, it's kind of like losing control of the message, which I guess is a little risky, a little dangerous, but it can benefit you in a massive way. When you come up with something that you think is viral, try to think of any possible reason it could go south on you, okay? Because you don't want to go viral for the wrong reasons. How many of us have seen something being copied around the internet and basically it was a negative for a company, you know, and we laughed at it. We don't want that, but we do want it to go viral. Others must share it over and over and over. But the question is, why are they sharing? Why would they share what you did? One of the keys is that every bit of this is tied to passion. In the marketing world, passion is one of the key determinants of success. People, when they look into your eyes, when they watch you on video, they need to truly believe, not just feel, but truly believe that you believe what you're saying. And the key to that is for you to be passionate about it. Now, most of you small businesses, of course, you're passionate about it because that's your business and you truly believe in what you do. Well, that needs to come across in video as well. That needs to come across in your blogs. That needs to come across in your social media posts. That passion, because people sense passion. And let me give you a little secret. People are attracted to passion. When you see someone on stage speaking and you can tell that they really mean it and they feel it, you're attracted to that. We all are. It's one of the traits of a leader is showing that kind of passion for what they do. So what Guerilla is not, it's not lucky, and going viral isn't either. And it's not random. A lot of people think, oh, wow, they made that post and now it's going global. How random. They're lucky. No, not at all. In order to understand why something goes viral, why something that you can start from a guerrilla standpoint and it just goes crazy and you're achieving the same branding that national companies are by dumping a load of money on everything, but you're doing it for free, you need to understand how the mind works. And there's a little thing called social currency. Pay attention. This will be some of the best information you ever hear moving forward. And if you keep in mind what social currency is, you'll be well on your way. To explain social currency, why do we forward things on? Or even ask another question, why do you retell a joke in a group of people? When you're at a party or with friends, why do you tell a joke? Why? What motivates you to do that? Or if someone posts a funny meme on Facebook, why do you share it? What makes you want to do that? The answer to that question is actually the answer to your success in the business arena. What you need to understand is that all humans have an innate need to be relevant. The reason we forward things on is because we want the people that we forward it on to see us as smart or funny. Okay? Let me put it to you this way. All humans need social currency. A good example of social currency is applause. When people are on a stage and they finish performing, what do? We give them applause. We are paying them in social currency. We are paying them. And what happens if they don't get it? Not good, right? Now, if we really want to pay them well, we'll stand up and clap. But that's not all social currency is. When we tell a joke, if our friends just sit there and go, ow, that's not the social currency we were looking for. What were we looking for? Laughter. If we've texted something funny, what are we looking for? Someone to text back, LOL, LMAO. You follow me? LOL is social currency. LMAO is social currency. And that is what you are paying them for what they just said. Now, there are only two types of content that receive social currency. One is when you educate them, and one is when you entertain them. Both can generate social currency. And when you realize that every human on this planet needs social currency, then you start discovering how to create the need. Then you start learning how to create posts that will generate it. And here's what it all ties together. The way you get people, now listen, out of this whole talk, if you only hear one thing, I want you to hear this. When you post something to Facebook, or when you tell a joke, or when you make a video, or whatever, You need to ask yourself this question. Will what I just said make the receiver want to forward it on? And the only thing that will make them want to forward what you did on is if they feel they will receive social currency by doing so. Did you hear me? If you assist someone in receiving social currency, they'll market you all day long. They'll forward all your stuff. But they won't forward it if they don't think they will receive social currency for doing so. Now, this is a very important point. Are there any questions on that so far?
I have a question, and you know me, I always have questions, but
You go.
okay. I can see forwarding something on or funny or smart when you have kind of a so-called glamorous business. Let's say you have the cute little boutique down the street that just opened up. Could you still use these techniques for something that is maybe a little bit more specific or a little bit not as wide ranging as the cute little boutique?
Like what?
I think of okay,
Come on.
I'm thinking of like PVC pipe just off the top of my head or something like that.
Okay. Okay, so you're a
I'm
company that makes PVC pipe. Okay.
right.
So here's what I would do. And this is just off the top of my head. If I was actually going to sit down and work with a company like that, it would take longer. But this is just the first thought off the top of my head. And no, we did not plan this. Um, what I would do is I would make a very large Rube Goldberg machine out of PVC pipe. Okay. Now, a Rube Goldberg machine, for those of you who don't know, is a machine that takes a simple process and overcomplicates it by putting a lot of moving parts into it. Okay. We've all seen them. If you ever played the game of Mousetrap, that is a Rube Goldberg machine. Okay. It's like to catch a mouse, you got to do all this stuff. Okay. So, what I would do is I would make a very large one with using PVC pipe. And that PVC pipe would have my name all over it. Because here's the deal, people love watching Rube Goldberg machines. Now, and then you're going, what's he saying again? How do you spell that? R-U-B-E, B as in boy, R-U-B-E, and then Goldberg. Goldberg. He used to make a lot of drawings of these kind of machines. But if you go to YouTube and just do a search on that, it will blow you away how companies are making their Rube Goldberg machine things go viral. So that's what I would do. And like you would drop a marble in one end of this PVC pipe and you would see it travel and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And it would be entertaining as all get out. That's just one idea. Keep in mind, the video doesn't have to be about how cool your product is, but the video needs to somehow incorporate your product or your service or your people in whatever makes it viral. Does that make sense?
I think so. And that was really just right off the top of my head as far as that. So
Oh yeah. No one has an excuse not to do this, including funeral homes. Okay. There is no business that cannot have a viral post. So just keep in mind, people want applause. People want to be relevant. People need to hear you say good job. People need that. It is a human need. And what I'm saying is figure out a post that generates that. Figure out a post that makes them think in their head that when I post this on Facebook, other people are going to go, yeah. You see what I'm saying? Every time you have forwarded someone else's stuff on, you were secretly needing, desiring, wanting social currency. It's that simple. It's a basic human need, the need to matter, the need to be relevant. I'm telling you, marketing is all about psychology. Learn psychology and you're there. So, strategy number one, you're going, wow, Eric, 20 minutes in, hitting strategy number one. Generate viral content. But you needed to understand what viral was before I even got to this point. Okay. So you've got to generate viral content. One of the best places to go and watch. I love watching people who've already succeeded to see how they did it. Next time you get a chance, I want you to go to YouTube and I want you to do a search on will it blend? Just type those words into a search, will it blend? There is a company called Blend Tech, and what they do is they make blenders. And they're very expensive blenders. I mean, like $500,000-$600,000 blenders, like you put in your kitchen. But these aren't for home. These are for like clubs and bars and restaurants. They're like industrial blenders. And they knew that what they made was kind of boring. I mean, they make blenders. So what they did was they wanted to show why you should pay $1,000 for a blender. It's because they claim that their blenders will cut through anything. They don't get jammed and stuck because in case you didn't know, restaurants and clubs make the majority of their profit from drinks, not from food, from drinks. And the drinks they make the most profit from are the ones with the most ice in them. Think about it. Less product, less cost, more water. And so many times when they're making a frozen margarita or something with ice in it, they'll use a blender. And if that blender snaps or jams on the ice, guess what? That restaurant or club is no longer making all that money. So they want a blender that won't give out. So the makers of Blend Tech knew that. So what they did was they created a fake laboratory. The owner of the company is a fake scientist. And what he does is he says, will it blend? And then he grabs some random something. And it could be a Bic lighter. It could be a tree branch. It could be an action figure or even an iPhone. And he will throw it into his blender, put the lid on, and then start it. And I mean, really start it with an iPhone in it. And you will watch that iPhone get blended. Then he'll take the lid off, pour all the powder on the table and go, yes, it did. It blended. And that's the end of the video. He doesn't talk about buy our blender. He doesn't talk about their products. He's just basically entertaining you, but you're forwarding the video on and he's getting all sorts of brand awareness. They didn't have the money of Kenmore and some of these larger blender makers, but now they're $1 million companies simply because he understood the concept of viral content. I'm telling you, watch those videos. The reason you need to realize that the reason you watch a viral video is different than why they created it. He created that to sell blenders. You watched it because it was entertaining and everyone likes seeing stuff destroyed. Keep that in mind. Which, let me just give you some advice. Don't you ever take one of your TV commercials for your company and put it on YouTube and think that works. No, commercials don't work on YouTube. Commercials don't work on YouTube. Don't ever do it. You will fail. Okay? People only watch YouTube videos or read memes for one of two reasons. They either want to be educated or entertained. That's it. Educated or entertained. They do not want to be advertised to. Keep the sale subtle or non-existent. And that's what he does in those videos. Like I said, you can't even tell he's trying to sell you a blender, but he does. You could also go look at, there's a lot of videos that I make. A lot of them are like that too. And now I'm making videos for a lot of people, so I don't do as many for myself anymore. But my videos still get watched 5,000 times a day. And it's all because I don't advertise in them. I just tell people the answer and move on. And people like that. Okay, enough on viral. Let's go to strategy number 2. Guerrilla strategy number 2. Build the Leadatron 2000. Now, I totally made that name up. It's not a real product. It's not a real thing. You won't find it if you Google it, except maybe where I mention it. But the Leadatron 2000 is how you get leads. And that's what this is about. Getting leads you wouldn't have ordinarily got. One of the things you need to realize is that visitors are anonymous. Everyone who visits your website, everyone who watches your videos, they're totally anonymous. You don't know who they are unless they tell you, okay? You have no clue. Like when people go to your website, yes, you can see the footsteps and you can see all the pages they went to, how long they stayed there, but you can't contact them. You can't tell who they are. There's no information connected to them, like their name or anything. So the only way your website will ever generate a lead is if you convince them to contact you. Did you know that the goal of a website, if what you're going for is leads, the goal of that website, it only has one goal, simply to convince people to contact you, convince people to pick up the phone and call you, convince people to email you, convince people to fill out your little form. It's to convince people to contact you. That's it. It's not to show off your products. It's to convince people to contact you. The key to getting someone to doing that is you, once again, we're going to go psychology here. So get ready. You've got to understand that every human on this planet makes every decision in their life based on only two things. Did you know that? Every decision you make in your life can be traced back to only two things. And it's almost instinctual, like going back evolutionary here. You either want to avoid pain or you want to gain something you didn't have before. Every decision you make in life is based on only one of those two things. You either want to avoid pain or you want to get something you do not currently possess. Think of it as pain avoidance and greed. Those are the only two reasons you make any decision. And when I say any decision, I mean any decision, like going out to eat or even going to the bathroom. You're trying to avoid pain. You see what I'm saying? You make every decision based on only one of those two things. So guess what? You have to figure out why people buy your service or product. I'm going to tell you something that's going to make some of you angry. And some of you might even hang up on all this. And I hope not. But hear me and hear me to the end. No one wants what you sell. I'll say that again. No one wants what you sell. They want the value it brings. Did you hear that? They don't want your product. They don't want your service. They want the value that it brings. No one wants a shovel. They want a hole. Get it? No one wants an accountant. They want to avoid jail. You know what I'm saying? No one wants what? An ice cream cone. Actually, they do. That's one where they want it. They don't currently have it. But you need to ask yourself and look at your product and say, why are people deciding on my product? Is it because my product or service helps someone avoid pain? Or does my product or service help someone get something they didn't have before? It can be a combination of the two, okay? But once you figure that out, once you figure out what you're actually selling, the value that you're giving them, and you start marketing the value, then it goes crazy. I mean, think about it. How do people sell antivirus software? By scaring the hell out of you. Okay. And by telling you all the different hackers that are out there and ways they can get to you. See, you don't want antivirus software. You don't want to get hacked. You follow me? You're trying to what? Avoid pain. Okay. Stop selling your product. Stop thinking that people want what you sell. They don't. So once you figure that out, build a top 10 report. Now, a top 10 report, it could be anything. It could be, just think of it as a PDF, you know, a normal Acrobat file, or it could be a web page. But on it is going to be 10 reasons for something. Okay. And what I mean by that is it's got to be something that piques the interest of these people and helps them feel like they're going to avoid pain or get something they don't currently own. So for instance, let's say that a realtor, okay, a realtor is going to do this. So the top 10 report, and the goal of this is a teaser, okay? People, you got to come up with this in a way that people want to read it. So maybe the title of this top 10 report for a realtor trying to get leads. Because remember, a realtor website, you don't put a house in a shopping cart and sell it and it gets shipped to you. No, realtors want leads. They want people to call them. So the way I do that is I would build a top 10 report. And maybe the name of that report is, how about top 10 mistakes you can't afford to make when selling your house? Top 10 mistakes you can't afford to make when selling your house. Now, which one of those is it speaking to? It's speaking to the pain, isn't it? You could have also done something like um, top 10 ways to increase the value of your house 25% in 25 minutes. You follow me? Increasing the value, or how to get more house for less money. You see what I'm saying? You can go at it from two ways, but you're going to build this report and it's going to be a one pager. We're not talking about a long white paper, like a big long research report. No, it's a single page. And maybe it just has 10 things on it, and you know what those are for your business. You know what they are. And a realtor would know how to answer that anyway. So you create that and you post that. So someone sees a teaser on your website and it says, get our top 10 report, top 10 mistakes you can't afford to make when selling your house. Well, think about it. If someone is looking for a realtor, if someone is thinking about selling their house, they don't want bad things to happen. They're going to see that and go, oh, I guess I need to know that. Or top 10 mistakes you can't afford to make when choosing a realtor. That'd be a good one too. A lot of people thought, oh, I didn't know there could be mistakes. I better read that. So they click on it. And when they click on it, which is your goal this whole time, they're going to go to that page. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to give them the top 10 reasons. Now, why do I do top 10? Why do I keep saying top 10? Why is it got to be a 10? Well, it could be any number you want. It could be top 5, top 3, top 20, whatever. But I like numbers. When you use numbers in your title, when you use numbers, the human mind sees value in quantity. So if I would have simply said things to avoid when selling your home, or top 10 mistakes you can't avoid when selling your home, you're going to choose top 10 because you think there's going to be more meat in it, because I gave you a number. People put value in numbers. Remember that. So you're going to build a top 10 report. You get it out there. They look at it, they read it, they go, wow. Now, some of y'all are going to say, oh, I see what you're doing. So now you're going to ask them for their information. Now you're going to ask for the information to the lead. No. I'm going to offer them the second deal. I'm going to give them the first one free. I'm not requiring any information back. Because keep in mind, what is our secret reason for doing all of this? We want them to fill out our form. We want them to email us. We want them to call us. We want the lead. So I'm going to offer a report that should help them. They're going to read it. Now, the number one reason people don't contact you is trust. When you go to a website for the very first time, you don't trust them right out of the chute. No one does. There is what we call a trust barrier. And your goal is to lower it. And one of the ways to lower it is by keeping your word, is by making a promise and keeping your word. And so what we did was we said, here on our homepage, maybe a teaser, get our report, top 10 mistakes you can't afford to make when choosing a realtor. They click on it. Guess what? We gave it to them. We made a promise. We gave it to them. And they learned. They were educated. You're saying, Eric, but you still don't have the lead. What was the point? Here's the secret. At the bottom of that top 10 report, you're going to have a big old title that says, we actually have a full list of 50 mistakes you can't afford to make. And I would love to email those to you. And so that's when you have your form, when you ask for the information. And you only really need to ask for 3 things: name, email, and phone. Well, you don't need their address? No. Most people's contact forms are too long and they ask too much. The longer your contact form on your website is, the fewer people will fill it out. Okay? Because people are lazy. And they're not going to give you all that information just because you asked for it. That information belongs to them. And they're not just giving it out to everybody, but they will trade for it. Remember that. They won't just give you their information, but they'll trade for it. That's what I'm offering them. I'm offering them a trade. I've already proved that I can keep my word by giving them the top 10. And now I'm offering them the bigger prize. But all I need from them is a little contact information. So they fill it out, hit submit. I get a lead. And in my mind, that's what I got. Now it's up to you to make the sale, because you're going to take that information and you're either going to email them or call them. I prefer calling. And you're going to say, hey, first, I just want to make sure, you got the thing I sent you. And that's what people will do. Your reason for calling is to say, I want to make sure you got it. But then that's when you can start into your sale. You follow me? You got them to contact you, and that was the goal. Create a call to action, the teaser graphic on your homepage, to get them to see the first top 10 report. When they finish that, and they're like, wow. And you might even think that the law of reciprocation might even kick in here, because you just educated them and made them a better consumer. They almost feel like they owe you a little, but really all you were wanting to do was lower that trust barrier to where they could get over it more easily and give you their information. Any questions on that? I can do a whole talk just on that.
I'm gonna use my example again.
Okay.
All right, except I'm gonna go the other way.
No PVC pipe?
No, instead of the PVC pipe, I have the cute boutique with shoes. All right,
Shoes.
shoes. Okay,
Okay.
I desire shoes, but how do I build a top 10 report, create a call of action for the shoes I'm selling and the next shoes that I'm bringing in and the ones after that?
The key is to remember you're not selling shoes. What are you really selling? What are you really selling? Why do people buy shoes?
Because they want their friends to think that they have cute shoes on.
Right, exactly. No one goes to a boutique place to buy functional shoes. Can we just all say that? Okay. No one goes to a boutique place to buy functional shoes. They go to a boutique to buy what? Fashionable shoes. Okay. Why? When you understand why someone buys fashionable shoes, your top 10 report comes together. Did I sound too much like Mr. Miyagi on that one? Hold on.
No, thank you, Sensei. It did make sense to me because yes, it
See,
does.
talk to the value, not the product. Quit thinking about PVC pipe. Quit thinking about shoes. Think about why people buy those things and speak to that. Okay. I mean, I could do a top 10 report, top 10 ways to get the best value on the expensive brands of shoes. What does that speak to? Gaining something you don't already own. I could also do a top 10 report on the top 10 tests you can do to make sure those $100 shoes won't hurt you 2 days after you buy them. Avoidance of pain. You see what I'm saying? So create a call to action. I put it on your website. I'm telling you, if you have this 2-part thing, the leads will be pouring in. If you're able to tap into what they really desire. So yeah, you're going to reward the click. The first one is free, but the second one, we ask them for their information. And remember, you only need 3 pieces of information. And some people say, well, why do you need the phone and the email? Can't we just ask for one or the other and just have 2 pieces of information? No. The reason you ask for phone and email is because you'd be surprised how many people can't correctly type their own email address or phone number in. And they'll get it off by 1 letter, 1 digit, and then you can't get a hold of them and they think you're ignoring them. So the reason I ask for phone and email is the other is a backup in case they got one wrong. Okay, strategy number 3, incentivize social. Social media is one of the most amazing things out there. And I tell people all the time, you can use social media to drive people online into your brick and mortar store. And so The Froyo shop model is the one I like to give because this happened here in Amarillo, Texas. We had a frozen yogurt shop, and it just opened up. And this was back when frozen yogurt was kind of a cool thing. And it just opened up. And all of a sudden, I was seeing everyone on Facebook mentioning this frozen yogurt place. I mean, lots of people, all my friends were mentioning it. I thought, what is going on? Well, it finally convinced me to go to this place. So what I did was I went to the frozen yogurt place and I went inside and I saw a sign right above the door and it said this: mention us on Facebook and get 25% off. So here's what people were doing. While they were waiting in line to get their frozen yogurt, they were opening up their phone and saying, hey, I'm here at blah, 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 linking to them. And then when they got their yogurt, got to check out, they would show their phone to the cashier and she'd take 25% off. And what is that? Like for a $4 yogurt, you know? So what is that, $1? You follow me? Best advertising they ever did. They had over 4,000 followers on social media within 2 weeks. And it got them all sorts of exposure. You can run social media contests. We had an orthodontist. He does braces for kids. And what he does is every 3 months, he picks 5 of his kid patients and he contacts their parents. And he says, hey, may I put a picture of your kid on my social media page? You know, smiling, showing the braces, wearing our t-shirt, something like that. And at the end of a month, and there's going to be 4 other kids who do the same thing. And at the end of the month, whichever kid's picture has the most likes, their braces are free. Their braces are free. So guess what happens? Parents are going to do what? They're going to promote that picture to all their friends. And who are parents' friends? Other parents. So basically, this orthodontist is getting other parents to visit his site. And trust me, he gets enough business, way more than enough business every 3 months to warrant giving away 1 set of braces for free. Keep in mind that social media contests do have rules and Facebook has rules. If you're going to use Facebook, there are rules. So always Google, if you're thinking of doing a contest, always Google the name of the social media platform, contest, and rules. So like Facebook contest rules or Instagram contest rules. Always Google that and find out what they are. Number 4, email campaigns. These are huge. I love email campaigns. A lot of people think they're spammy. They're not if you send content. No one wants to see just an advertisement in their email. That's called spam, but they do want to be entertained or educated. Remember, people will read what you do or watch what you do for only one of 2 reasons: to be entertained or educated. That's it. Or you can combine the 2. I call that edutainment. Okay. Kind of an entertaining education, if you will. Now, if you're going to send out large amounts of email, you need to use a special program to do that. My two favorites are MailChimp and Constant Contact. And talk to your local SBDC counselor on because they can sometimes get you a good deal. I think on Constant Contact, I think they have a unique relationship with them. But they can help you get set up with that and get discounts and all that. But you need one of these because you never want to be sending out large amounts of email from your own email account, like your own Gmail account or whatever, because you'll get clocked. You will get flagged as a spammer. And so you want to go through one of these. My favorites are MailChimp, Constant Contact. I use MailChimp for the most part. And I send the reason I like it and like to recommend it is because you can basically send out 12,000 emails to 2,000 subscribers every month for free. Constant Contact has a similar deal. I'm just not sure what it is. I use MailChimp. So you can just put MailChimp.com or ConstantContact.com and go check them out. Or ask your SBDC counselor. The key to making this work, though, isn't just how you send these things out. It's what's in it. You need to balance your content to the ads. Most of us are going to need to have more content than ads. If it's a newsletter, teach me something or make me laugh. Figure out how often you're going to send it out. If you're not sending it out once a month, you might as well not even be doing it. Okay. Uh, I would recommend not more than once a week, unless you're a restaurant. Restaurants can get away with almost every day because all they send out is advertisements, buy one, get one, or bring this in and get a free drink or whatever. But the rest of us need to be careful on that because we really can't do that. So I would recommend anywhere from once a week to once a month. The key to someone opening up that email is the subject of the email. Coming up with the subject is key. Whatever you do, don't call it a newsletter. It's not what it is. No one wants a newsletter, okay? They want to be entertained or they want to be educated. So think of something that will grab them. And I tell people all the time, if you want to learn how to write good subject lines, next time you're at the grocery store and you're checking out, look at the magazine rack right next to you. The one with all the Bigfoot is an alien kind of stuff. And I want you to look at those titles. Those companies hired people who can write titles. And the goal of those titles on those magazines is just to get you to grab that and pick it up. That's it. Their sole goal is to get you to pick it up. What you want people to click and open it. So don't lie. Don't make it that crazy. You'll make $1 million in 3 minutes if you open this. No, make it interesting. Make it something I would want to open. Do not buy email address lists, whatever you do. Do not buy email address lists. Okay. You're going to earn them one at a time, one person at a time. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. Usually at checkout, they'll ask you for an email address, or in restaurants, they call it a birthday club. If you've ever seen a birthday club at a restaurant, do you know what you're really signing up for? Their newsletter. That's just what they call it. Because remember, people don't want to subscribe to anything. They want to be a part of a community. So if you sell dresses or clothing, then say it's your VIP, community. They get the best discounts. They get them before anyone else. People will join a community, but they will not join a mailing list. Remember that. Use your words carefully. Incentivize the opt-in to that list. Like with restaurants, let's say you own a restaurant and you want to really get that newsletter list up. And one of the things you can do is have a waiter competition with your wait staff. And basically, at the end of the week, whichever waiter has brought in the most email addresses, from their tables, maybe gets $100. Because keep in mind, the waiter is the person who's going to be interacting with those customers and who has the ability to get that email address. At the retail cash wrap, when they're checking out, that keep in mind that is the happiest someone will ever be with you is when they're paying you. And so that is the perfect time to ask for an email address. You probably noticed that at some larger stores who ask, and what's that email address again? They're trying to get you on their newsletter. Make it part of the sale. If what you do involves a contract that is signed or a form that is signed in some way, make sure you're just asking for the email. And down below, you got to say what that's for. Tell them it's for a newsletter, but make it part of the sale and not something extra. You'll catch a lot more that way. And if you're at a conference, you've probably seen those fish bowls on those everywhere that people put business cards in. There's a contest for the iPad, or maybe you put a card in and you get a luggage tag or a t-shirt, giveaways, things like that. You can collect a lot of email addresses that way. But once again, make sure if you're collecting email addresses at a conference, you shouldn't let people know what it's for. Okay. Hey, don't call it a newsletter. Just say, hey, we have some amazing deals that come out. Would you like to get that? Sure. The business card CTA, call to action, is what CTA is. The business card call to action. Most people underutilize their business cards. Y'all all have a blank background when you could be using it. You could turn it into a coupon, because really what you want is for people to bring it back in. Or you could even turn customers into salespeople. There was a guy who owned a Mexican restaurant here in Amarillo, And he and I are friends. And he came up to me and he said, hey, Eric. He always called me Spellman. Never called me by my first name. He said, hey, Spellman. And he gave me a stack of his business cards. And he says, just give these out to your friends. And I thought to myself, why would I do that? But then I looked at the back of the business card and it said, bring this in for a free bowl of queso. I thought, oh, that's cool. And then he said to me this, he says, Eric, I want you to put your initials real small at the top of every one of those business cards. And that way, if the cards I hand out come back in and people are buying meals, what ended up happening is every once in a while, that restaurant owner would call me and say, hey, Eric, we got a whole bunch more of the ones you gave out, come in and get a free meal. See how that works? Commission the card, give out a stack of them to someone that you know is very social. Remember, and I've said this in every talk I've done, people would rather do business with an expert than a salesman. Stop trying to position yourself as a CEO. Stop trying to position yourself as a good salesman and start positioning yourself as an expert. Always speak to the pain and desire. Do not talk about your product. Remember, in your advertising, stop focusing on the product and service and start focusing on the value that it brings. If you watch any national TV commercial, you will see it proven to you. You just didn't have to go to college to learn that little trick. Remember, curiosity motivates, and so come up with good teasers, okay? Like for your website, things that would make people click, things that make you go click, okay? That's what you really want. Curiosity, people will click, but only if you can tempt them. And remember, passion is contagious. If you're passionate about it, they will believe it, okay? So if you truly believe your product helps people, then let me feel that the way you describe it to me. Because I can tell when someone's just trying to sell something to me versus someone who's trying to help me. Remember, people would rather do business with an expert than a salesman. Whew. Questions on any of this?
I just love the talks. I have one question, and then please jump in, anybody. Annalena, you have questions, let me know. But what do you think about the text messages? Because I get a lot of the text messages, no?
Not a fan, not a fan of using texting. Okay. It seems like a good idea, but people really are keeping their texting too personal, between people. And the way I could prove that to you is by you probably noticing how few national companies do have texting campaigns. Okay. If it is, it's going to be a one-off. It's not like an email newsletter that's going to come every so often. It'll be like you want to be reminded of our upcoming event? Let us know. And then maybe you'll get a text for that. But on an ongoing, hey, come check us out. I remember there was a tanning salon and I was friends with the business owner. And so I just signed up for it and it was killing me. I got too much. I had to send back a stop because it was just, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Why did it annoy me more in texting than it did in social media? Probably because we all learn to pay attention when something gets texted to you because we think it's a real person.
We have, yeah, we have some comments on the texting and stuff because it's hard to create a teaser for a text too and stuff like that. So
Yeah, texting is tough. I have not seen very many successful ongoing texting campaigns. I just haven't. They might exist, and for some products, it might be perfect. But for most companies, that would be a tough sell.
you have gotten someone has raised their hands and you've got a lot of excellent presentation, Good job. And then we have.
Oh, well, then you better stay tuned to the next ones. We got some good stuff coming up.
And then we do have
So,
someone that raised their hand. Would you like me to allow them to speak?
of course.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead. You.
Robert V. Hill,
Yes.
unmute yourself, or you may have to do it for them.
Yeah, Robert, it looks like you're unmuted. If for some reason you can't speak, just go ahead and chat or put your question into the Q&A, which I think someone has just done. In the meantime, oh, they said, thanks, Eric, for your class. Thanks, Eric. Your class activated my brain and learned new insights into social media. Got some ideas already. So Robert, while we wait for you to get in touch with us, I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm going to unmute one more time, but just go ahead and send us a quick chat and hopefully we can help you out there. And in the meantime, just wanted to let you know that we have some webinars this week as well still, including basic steps to starting a business in New Mexico. That's tomorrow from 11:30 to 1. Then on Friday, we have risk management in a digital world. That's the lunch hour. And I have also chatted through our NMSBDC webinars email address. Should you have any questions, go ahead and email us there, as well as a link to our schedule of live and on-demand webinars, and then a link where you can sign up for free counseling and training, should you want to do that. Don't hesitate to get in touch with us with any questions. We're here for you. We want to help you. And it looks like we no longer have a raised hand, so I'm so sorry about that if we're unable to get to you. But if anyone else has any questions, let us know now. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Oh, Catherine. Okay, let's see if we can allow you to talk. Hi, Catherine. Can you hear us? You may have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Hi.
Hi. So, Eric, that was refreshing. And how do we access you or what you're doing or where you're speaking?
Well, I'll tell you what, in the current situation that I'm in, I am totally representing the New Mexico SBDC.
Oh, great.
So you're gonna be hearing everything that I do between now and September. And so feel free to do that. I do have my own videos out there, and you can find them by searching my name on YouTube if you want to go watch them. But really, my goal here is to really talk about the New Mexico SBDC. And I'll be honest, one of the best things you can do is to make an appointment with an SBDC counselor, because so much, I speak at their national conferences, is what it is. And so many of the ideas that I have taught, many of them now use in their sessions with their clients. And so if you want someone who understands kind of what I'm talking about and gets it and has heard it and has talked to people about it, these SBDC counselors are the best. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend a meeting, because keep in mind, it costs you nothing. And when I started my business 25 years ago, I went to our local SBDC, Small Business Development Center here in Amarillo. And it kept me from going out of business because I thought I knew everything. I didn't. Amazing.
So Anwar Kalen up in Taos sent out a list of SBDC talks, and that's actually how I ended up at this talk. But there are catchy names, but I would love it if your name could be in that immediate list. And so you did what you recommended. You had a good catchy title: guerrilla marketing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
have a whole title. In fact, I have a whole presentation I'm probably going to be doing later on about power words. How a small business can use power words to get more clicks and more interaction. And so, yeah, I follow my own advice. So the title that you saw on this,
right,
trust me, it was thought through. When I made my videos, I would spend 60% of my time coming up with the title and 40% making the video. It's that important.
So Eric, what are the names of the next 3 SBDC talks you are going to be giving?
Let's see, I don't have the schedule in front of me. Can my Leslie or Annalena?
Yeah, I have, well, we have risk management in a digital world. That's our lunch and learn on this Friday.
Right?
And then we have bricks to clicks, going from brick and mortar to online. Then I will be getting out the schedule for the rest of March by, I think I'll be getting that out early next week, Catherine. And I know you have my email, and I will be glad to make sure that I send it to you so you can catch Eric.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Eric, you're doing the risk management on
Uh-huh.
Friday?
I'm pretty much on Tuesdays and Fridays
Yes.
Okay,
for
great.
the foreseeable future.
Yes.
Very good. All right. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And then just to let everybody know, I will be sending through an email here within the next hour or so with the link to the on-demand copy of this webinar, should you wish to review it again, and the presentation slides as well. And I will also provide you with information on upcoming webinars, so you have that all ready and available to you. So be sure to keep an eye out for emails that will be coming to you.
And I have one more comment that came in that I'm going to read real quick before we dismiss everyone, but it's basically from Robert. I've been looking for someone who understood the psychology of selling products. Thank you, Eric. So with that, we will end it for today. Thanks, everybody. You guys have a great day.
And Eric, thank you so much as always.
Oh, my pleasure. See you next time.